Court's over, guys.
That was fast.
Yeah, it was. They'd already handled most of it.
Oh, really?
They postponed the next court date, and but they'd already given him the arrest warrant. They'd already given him.
So I think the next one.
The 29th is canceled to February now. He said we were in recess, and then he.
Sir, you can't go out that way. Thank you.
I think they skipped us and went out that other side. If he showed up in this car, this one's he's going back in.
Here they go to the bathroom?
Well, they brought him down. You appeared. It's two sheriffs. And then the sheriff will go back in the elevator and then wait.
Might have gone up. No, the arrest affidavit is released to Patrick and the defense attorney, but it hasn't been released to the public. Might be back in. They called recess, so he might have had to go to the restroom before the ride. And if they had to go to the restroom before the ride, they would have took him back upstairs.
It's all coming out of your pocket.
It's a beautiful day in Cripple Creek. It's actually a good day to be down here. They may have decoyed the press today.
Where they did the press ride?
Looks like there's going to be a press conference afterwards here tonight, so we'll stick around for that.
Did you hear about that? The press gonna do it if I his camera out there on the corner. They don't know.
Okay. Where are your sticks, Ken? Where are your sticks? Okay.
Just on the corner of the building there.
Okay.
So they released the court docket to, or the arrest affidavit to Patrick and his attorney. They have not released it to the public. Supposedly there's going to be a presser. I wonder if he went out that way. How's it going?
As far as trying to stream compressor, I do have a grid with me, so we could try to do it that way. Or
Here comes Patrick. So they're doing the presser right over here. We'll go up here and hang out. Get that live shot for you. This is where we've been. We'll be back in just a little bit, guys. We're gonna come back for this presser. So they're about to do a press conference right out here in front of the courthouse. We'll hang right here and get the best shot we can. Got all the news, all the media's here. DA's right here. She's about to come up and give us a statement. is.
Sorry, I'm trying to stay closer to
That is
Manny.
him.
I might stand behind you.
I need you.
It makes you look better on camera, though. Seriously. Okay. Hang on, guys. Sorry.
You got your sunshades?
And before you speak, if you could just say your names and spell them, that'd be awesome.
Oh, God.
I am so close.
Okay.
I hate being the last one here, but as soon as you catch the line, I can't help myself. You're sound checking my mic, Tony. That's good.
You're blocking my shot.
How you doing?
How about if I do this?
That'll
Is
work.
everybody ready? We'll move up.
Doesn't even look that good.
Good save.
I'm trying. Hang on. And yeah, if you guys get ready. Oh, sure. Whatever works. Right? Oh, here.
Hey, Scott.
Are you? Good?
Thanks, boss.
Can you talk
that way?
Sorry, can I go
Yeah,
on
no
mute?
problem. Can you hear me?
I have 2 more seconds, guys. I know
Waiting on ABC.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You got it? Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You can get by a boom mic to rite of passage.
It's like a love tap. It's just like,
Thank you for that.
He has a lawyer.
Bye.
Careful. That's fine. I just am not.
That'll work, Tone.
Thanks for doing that. Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right.
Everybody good? Let's do this.
Are you ready? Yeah. I'm Jennifer Beeman. It's spelled B as in Victor, I-E-H-M-A-N. Beth Reed, Deputy District Attorney, R-E-E-D is my last name. So I'm going to explain what happened in court today. I know all of you were there, but the acoustics can be very poor in the courtroom. So just to kind of explain a little bit about what happened, we had 2 motions that we litigated today, obviously very quickly. The first motion was in regards to releasing the affidavit to Patrick Frazee himself. So currently the affidavits, any of the search warrants are sealed in the court file, but as we discussed at the last court date, we released the affidavit to defense counsel for Mr. Frazee, and today we agreed that Mr. Frazee himself could also review that affidavit with his attorney, and his attorney staff can all work together on that PC affidavit. It will remain sealed until further court order. So that was the first issue that we dealt with here today. The second issue was in regards to the consumptive testing. As we discussed at the last court hearing, whether or not we could proceed forward with testing because the lab had indicated to us that it would be consumptive. That is, that there wouldn't be another sample for a defense expert to be able to look at or review. So we've been in communication and contact with the lab. They've indicated and given us a memo to pass along to defense counsel about how their procedures would work and what they need to do. So we have provided that to defense, and we will work out how that consumptive testing will proceed forward in the future. I would imagine that any of that testing we will discuss with the defense counsel in this case. and we will work out the logistics of how we're going to be able to proceed forward with that testing from here on.
Does Patrick Frazee have the rest of the evidence beyond the arrest affidavit, and if not, when will he get it?
So part of the process is what we call discovery, and throughout that process, all of the police reports, everything will be provided to his defense team. That's an ongoing process, and that has already begun. And as that process continues, he will have access to all of the discovery. That's going to be any videos, police reports, pictures, anything of that nature will be provided to the defense counsel, and then through defense counsel, Mr. Frazee will be able to view those items as well.
Is the woman...
One of the reasons you wanted to hold on to the affidavit is that you said the investigation was still underway. There were all these leads that needed to be followed.
Yes.
What is the status of the investigation, and if it is still so active, was his arrest premature?
Well, it is an ongoing active investigation. What that really means is that there's many leads that law enforcement will be following up on, many witnesses they will be talking to, and different avenues that they need to pursue. So in terms of releasing the affidavit, the reason why it's remaining sealed is so that law enforcement can contact those witnesses before all of that information is made public. So it will be uncontaminated, if you will, from information that those witnesses would glean from court documents.
So you're confident he was not arrested too soon?
I am confident.
Have you received any evidence from Idaho investigators?
So I can't really speak to any of the investigation at this point. That information is still sealed. So I can't discuss at this time what information or what investigation has been completed through law enforcement.
Is there a woman in Idaho that's cooperating with the investigation?
Urgency to test that piece of evidence. What changed?
It was a communication with law enforcement and with the lab.
And tell us about that, because I think people heard, oh, there's this piece of evidence that needs to be tested. This must be real important. And now you're saying you might just have to wait and test it later?
This is an ongoing process as we look at multiple items that will be tested. So as we go through items and in communication with law enforcement in the lab, many times the urgent nature of things may change because we may realize that that piece of evidence or that item, either it doesn't have the significance that we once thought it did, or maybe the lab is telling us that it's not going to be an issue. They're going to be able to complete things in a timely manner, regardless of when the consumptive motion is litigated. So many things can go into determining whether or not we need to rush or not. So that's the communications that we have with law enforcement in the lab, was to, in the communications we had with them, we just determined that it didn't need to be completed by January 20th.
Is there a woman in Idaho that's cooperating with the investigation?
So I can't really speak to any of the information that's contained in any of the probable cause affidavits because those remain sealed at this time. Any investigation that's ongoing through law enforcement, I can't comment.
Do you expect other people to be charged?
I can't really comment on that either because this, as I said, is an ongoing criminal investigation and many leads are being pursued by law enforcement.
Is there still an active search for...
This already, but can you explain why the preliminary hearing was postponed and what went on with Mr. Frazee's decision and waive the 35 days?
So Colorado law requires that a preliminary hearing is held within 35 days unless the defense waives that 35-day requirement. Many times in complex cases, any homicide case, honestly, they will ask to waive that 35 days to give them more time to prepare. That's what happened today. The attorneys, they received the probable cause affidavit after the hearing on Monday, realized the complex nature of the case, and requested more time to be able to complete the hearing.
Is there still an active search ongoing for Kelsey Barrett's body?
There is still an active ongoing criminal investigation. So many different leads are being pursued by law enforcement in terms of witnesses and evidence, and that will be ongoing for a long time to come.
But specifically for a body, though, is there a search going on?
I believe that law enforcement is following up on any leads that they can at this time in that regard.
Jennifer, can you explain why you're now comfortable with Frazee actually seeing the affidavit himself?
Because in communication with law enforcement, we determined that the leads that they had already pursued between Monday and today, as well as the past couple of weeks, they were confident that it wasn't going to be any issues for Patrick Frazee himself to see the affidavit and be able to communicate with his attorney about that.
Was there concern about, maybe he contacting somebody else?
The concerns in terms of why we asked that Mr. Frazee not be able to see the affidavit in the first place from Monday until today was that we wanted many leads to be followed up on from law enforcement, and once those leads were followed up on, we no longer had the concerns about Mr. Frazee seeing that. No.
If there are 3 charges for solicitation to commit murder, why has another person not been charged yet?
So it's an ongoing criminal investigation, so there's many leads that have to be followed up on in terms of evidence collected and witnesses that need to be interviewed. All right. Thank you.
Well, there you go. You heard it first right here on the Underground. Nobody else got it out that quick to you, I promise you. And so that is the state, the prosecuting attorney. You've heard her explanations of what has happened via today's court. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but it turns out they moved the next court date, which means if somebody wants me to miss that court date, I gotta find someone else to give me $1,000. So I was gonna miss the 29th court date, but they postponed that court date now till February 19th, which means the Underground can be on location for the court. Now, don't you guys start spreading all the rumors about what you saw today, because I don't need to be held in contempt. That's all I'm saying. So you got what you got. You got some behind the scenes today. You got some oh, don't tell me I locked myself out. That would suck. I didn't. Got a little behind the scenes. You guys got some behind the courtroom. You got some you got as close as you're gonna get to Patrick. Like I was as close as they come when it comes to getting close-ups of Patrick. So I think Jay, if you're watching this, I don't know who's all been commenting. I haven't seen the comments because I've been trying to hold my cameras as steady as possible. Jay, if you're in here, you can pull any and all the footage you saw from this live video. If you see anything you want to use for a teaser for this evening show, then you just grab it. If you need me to send you something, I can send you something. Tweet me or text me. Jennifer's not a fraud. Everything she has to submit is true. I'm not talking about, Jennifer Lawrence is a fraud for sure. Jay is for justice is not a fraud. No, Jennifer Lawrence has not tried to help Kelsey's family. She is definitely a troll and a fraud. Y'all want to roll out of here and go head back towards Woodland with me, or should I just end this video now? That was kind of fun, actually. We got some good footage. I don't know how many viewers we had at the peak of our time there, but I'll show y'all a little drive out. So there's the courthouse. We are leaving and headed back to Woodland Park. And that's all she wrote, folks. That was a good little, like I said, that court didn't last long at all now, did it? You guys can check my this is Cripple Creek, Colorado. Just cruise through here nice and slow. Casinos on either side. End it so I can watch it from the beginning. You know, that's probably a good idea. You guys are awesome. I'm going to end this live. I'm going to come right back with another one, but people didn't see Patrick, so they want to see Patrick and watch all that.